So thank you for coming back and joining us with BizMap Ptbo. And I am delighted to introduce you to Gail Powerhouse. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Powerhouse? I meant Gail Moorhouse. So lovingly, we call her Gail Powerhouse. Sometimes, Gail, we call you Miss Moneybags as well, because Gail is where, well, I'm going to let Gail introduce herself. Gail, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Gail, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and what is Community Futures?
So I am fortunate enough that I connected with the right people shortly after I moved to Peterborough, and I ended up on the board of directors for Community Futures, a great organization that helps small businesses be able to help them from a number of different ways. We just don't help from money, we help from loans and grants, but most important, as we're seeing growth, it's more about the resources that we put behind it. And so from that, as we were recruiting for an executive director, I volunteered to help out for 3 months while we went through the role. Shortly after I entered doing this, I found I really loved it. It was kind of like a little bit of, I owned a business. I had some success, I've had some failures, but it took that entrepreneurship side of me. I've been in financing, I've been in technology. So it took a lot of those pieces and pulled them together to make it that, this is the job of my career. I mean, I've had others that are paid more or whatever, but this is a wonderful job where I go home because I'm fulfilled at what I do and I love coming into work. And I have a team that is amazing, both from a board perspective and from a staff perspective. And it's really because we all work well together that we can work on making the dreams of our clients come true.
I didn't realize you were an interim director just for the 3 months from being on the board. That's fabulous, because I know when I met you, everyone was like, wow, she is just making things happen. So it kind of makes sense that you were on the board, so you kind of saw the lens of what Community Futures was doing, and then you were able to, honestly, because you did jump right in. So many others in the past who have taken this position on, I've seen, have taken the position on, but you took it on and made partnerships with other community partners. You took this on and you made a difference with a lot of the local businesses immediately.
So I had been on the board for 2 years. I served on the loans committee and I was the chair on the grants committee. So I knew a little of the structure and the relationships and the stakeholders. But not too long after I was on the board as the executive director, we had a board meeting, and at the end of the meeting, we were kind of standing around the room chatting. And I'll give it to Wayne Harding, who said, well, why are we not partnering with other people? And actually, the conversation was about whether we own our building, which we did on Charlotte, or whether we partnered. Within a week, we were out looking at moving into this building and being partners. And I think that's the best thing that we've done is, yes, we have KPIs to provide workshops and business planning and all of those kinds of things, but why replicate what someone else is already doing a good job on?
And oh my goodness, I apologize, but you are preaching to the converted here, lady. Oh my goodness. You didn't probably, because we are recording this before you've even seen my kickoff episode for this season. And I talk about how important it is for our community partners to be working together, and that you guys have just taken it to a whole different level of communication and working together and partnering. And I didn't understand how much it was part of you. You know what I mean? I honestly didn't realize that, because that's something a number of us saw was a gap here in Peterborough. And when you came on into the scene, it's about when that started cementing, as far as they really started working together. And that's, I guess, when you started. That's exciting. Okay, I digressed, but I am so excited about you.
I don't take ownership of that. I think if somebody really pulled us together, it would be Rhonda from PKED. But what I recognize is that the Innovation Cluster, PKED, are doing an amazing job on helping startups. So when we dig deep and understand where we play a really good role. If I look at the financial hat and just focus on the roles around finance, And if they need a business plan, we'll work with them. We don't need to recreate a business plan. Let them, the other organizations that are doing good jobs, do that.
Like PEA, like PKD, they'll go to economic
Exactly.
Peterborough, Kawartha's economic development, which Rhonda Keenan is the general
Executive
manager,
director.
executive director,
She's the president and
president.
CEO.
Okay, and
Yes,
so
and
they'll
it
go
does an
there.
amazing job.
She
Yes.
does, she does. And so they would go there for a business plan. And then if they're looking for funding,
They
Rhonda's
bring their
team,
plan to us, and
right?
we work on helping them find the pool of money that best suits their needs. Because not everybody needs $150,000 to buy or build a new business. Some just need money for inventory to get me through for the season, get me started. And that's the kind of thing we do really well as well. So our niche market is going to be a sole entrepreneur. A sole entrepreneur, if they were to go to the bank to get funding, if they've not been in business for at least 2 years, they have difficulty accessing money anywhere. And so that's where we can help. We're willing to take a higher risk because that's what we do, and we do it well. So the people who start through the startup programs, the venture trainings and things like that, we're their next source for coming to get a little bit of cash. It may only be $5,000 that they need to get started, but we're there to help them get started and working with the people who are already doing some programs to nurture their needs. Where we fit really well is identifying where there's gaps. So the gaps really are, there's great training for new businesses, but they hit the terrible twos and they don't know what to do with all this data. They've got financial statements. They don't know how to read it. They don't know how to use it and take control of their business. So we're really good at helping them work in their business or on their business, understanding the differences between the two. And I think that's really come to light in the past year as we have looked at people who've had to, they've hit the wall, they've hit there's crisis, they're struggling. They didn't have a lot of backup funds to help them out. And so we've been there financially to help them. And so from that aspect, we have helped over 130 businesses in the past year keep their doors open in some manner. And in some cases, it's, you know what, you need help with through our Bring Your Business Online. When it first happened, how quickly can we help a business take pictures, build a website, and get e-commerce in action? So that was one of the first things we were able to help there. But it's just a matter of understanding everybody's different. We support 44 restaurants in Peterborough. That is pretty scary when you realize at the beginning of COVID, the impact of these people having to close.
Yeah.
But at the end, we have seen the best takeout services and products and food. And we have many, many businesses that have survived. So one of our businesses, I'll just use one. We've got, if you go to, we're on George Street. You go down George Street and there's a ton of businesses along the way that we've helped within this downtown area. So with that, I go Saturday mornings, that's our day out for breakfast, and we go to PJ's Diner on Sherbrooke. We live in Ennismore, so we drive to support them. And, you know, we have helped them in various different ways. When we did our tour with Minister Monseth, we took her to there so she could see what a restaurant was going through during this period. So it's really kind of seeing where the needs are, and they're different. And I have to say, I am amazed at the survival of so many businesses during our time frame because they have adapted, they've learned to pivot, but then that's the key of an entrepreneur. They're not stuck in levels of having to get approvals to do this, do that. They can pivot on a dime, and they have done that in a really great way. So we've also supplied what we're going to call, if you think of the Ptbo loan, where bigger businesses were able to go to the bank and get the $40,000 and then $60,000, 0% interest for until December 2023. and 25% of it is forgivable if it's paid by then or converted to a loan. So entrepreneurs who are sole proprietors weren't able to access that funding. So we have a program that the government had put out. It's called the Relief and Recovery Fund, the Rural Relief and Recovery Fund, and we've put out 2.5 million in Peterborough and the counties in helping.
Congratulations.
So some only needed $10,000 for their fixed expenses. Some needed 40 and then or 20, then we topped up to 40, then we topped up to 60 as the extended of time and the need for help was there. But I think one of the things there's two things I've learned in COVID is we helped with the Selwyn Township grant, which was $2,500 for a business, helping them with PPE. And I've discovered that it's not about how much you get, it's about the gratitude people have just because they got something. The gratitude that was shown through $2,500 has been significant. And so one of our programs, Bring Your Business Online, was $2,500 to somebody like Tiny Greens, helping them with their website. You help them with their website, but helping them, on different components of it before they got
their inventory so that they were able to sell online during COVID is what we ended up doing. You're absolutely right. And they were able to get that funding to help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for her, I think she was able to get a couple of laptops that really kind
That's
of
right.
build that in for her sales up front. So, I mean, little things like that. But one of the big things we noticed coming to the end, and I'm going to say back November, December, was people needed resources. It wasn't always about the money. It was about they were to the point where they needed expertise. They needed to understand, how do I recall or lay off employees because I'm in this situation? So we were able to create a program that was called the Advanced Advisory Services, where we teamed up someone who had a need with a vendor in our community. We weren't going to pay for them to get services from somebody in Toronto, a vendor in our community. So we kept funds within our community and helping them. I think we looked at, through that, we had 47 clients.
Oh, wonderful.
And we had 22 vendors. We teamed up. Some clients used 2 vendors. Some needed accounting help, some needed legal help, HR help, a lot needed strategy help that worked on client attraction. We figured, you know what, there's enough people doing marketing. We don't need the marketing, but they need the strategy. So helping from that side. And that is really kind of going to grow into another opportunity. Braden and I are working on it, of building out some kind of program that will help with some workshops for those who have not an immediate need, but don't have a need for one-on-one. But if they have the one-on-one need, we'll be able to help. Again, the real success is that businesses have been able to stay open. We've been able to help them. And it's not a one fits all. It's a one fits nobody but one. And so as we understand each need, we can adapt to be able to help them from that. And I mean, there's still startups. We had 16, I think, new startups happening that we were able to give small amounts of money.
Hi, I'm Tracy Ormond from Nazareth Catering and the Edison. Well, I started out many years ago as a nurse, believe it or not. I quickly learned that was not a career for me at a young age. And then I transitioned into the food business because I loved working with food. From there, I needed a career where I could make a little bit more money. So I decided to knock a few things off my bucket list, and I became a long-haul truck driver, which was fantastic. Until my stepson decided he wanted to come and live with us full-time, and I knew I had to get off the road. So right back into the food business I went. So when I transform my business each time, it sometimes comes from necessity. Things are changing and you have to keep on par with the trends. But sometimes you have to also make it work with your vision too, and think about what your end game is. I've always had a vision to be in the food industry and work with the community. I love the community. So I decided to purchase the Edison for a couple of reasons. I love the downtown space and I've wanted to be part of the downtown for a long time. Also, because of my current location, I'm not directly in front of the public with my catering company, and the pandemic has forced me to get in front of the public and do more individual catering opposed to group catering. And I just thought it was a perfect fit, and I really hoped to be able to carry on something that Lindsay had started. To me, the best part about owning my own business is the ability to learn and grow all of the time. Sometimes I look at my skill set and I'm amazed at the things I've learned over the years without formal education in each of those fields. I love that I get to make all of my own decisions, and I love that I get to choose when I work and how long I work. Absolutely the wraps. Chicken Clubhouse is the best.
Hi, my name's Lindsay Brock and I am the founder of Covet Coffee and Tea. I had to really consider my physical limitations in terms of transforming my business from a physical space into an online model. This was something I was able to do remotely from home at my own pace. So for that, it worked a lot better for my own life, and to be able to carry forth my business without having to completely give it up. Some of the benefits involved in having an online business, I can take on as much as I feel like I need to. I don't have to take on very much if I'm feeling like it's too much. I found some courage in being able to take the leap to an online model through my customers, actually. When I strip away the experience and the atmosphere of a physical space, it leaves a product, and I never really highlighted how good that product really is. Reflecting on this past year, COVID-19 has put immeasurable pressure on small businesses, but hey, diamonds are created under pressure. For a first-time customer to our website, I would highly recommend our Cafe Femminina. It is an amazing medium roast coffee and my favorite, and the one that I drink at home. And also our Pearl Grey tea is an amazing.
But now we're kind of, the needs shifting and we're shifting. So right now people need money for inventory. They need to order their fall stuff. And they've had to invest with and have inventory sitting on shelves. So now it's time to get that out. But in the meantime, they need to be getting ready and gearing up even for their Christmas season, because they're buying time for that. So we have funding that will help them out. You only need it for 6 months? Great, let's do it for 6 months. During this, we also helped one business right at the beginning, and this is kind of cool. They adapted from a bottle beverage company and ended up providing sanitation, just things.
Yeah.
We gave them $20,000 up front so they could buy new bottles and retool some of theirs. And within 2 weeks, I went into Canadian Tire and their stuff was on the front.
Oh, how
the only one that was available.
Wow.
Because everybody was sold out of sanitizer. It was like toilet paper at the beginning. Yeah. So he was able to pay us back within, I think, 2 months. But I mean, he's done really, really well. And we're working with that company to help them on a new product that they're getting ready to launch. So every need's different. We have one we're working, helping them. They need a freezer because now they're doing more home delivery kinds of food. They've had to shift that model. So as everyone is adapting, we need to adapt with them. And I think that's the great thing is, yeah, I'm looking out from my office all across George Street here, and I can see, we help them and we help them and we help the one down the street.
Oh, how proud.
It's really kind of it's a great opportunity to kind of dig in and see what they need. And then I have an amazing team who's all been hired to fit a unique role. So Michelle Cadwell, Crothers, she looked after the ASAP program. She's done the Selwyn Grant program, and she was an entrepreneur, so she understands it all. She's working on the tourism one right now. Braden, he's come from the innovation cluster, and I have to say, working with Braden, he is what I'm not. And so we balance each other out, and we work really, really well together. And he helps customers on a different level. And then Matt came in. So we had new employees over last year too. So
Wow, that's
main
tough.
characters are new employees who jumped in, and we all have had to work to pull it together. The great thing is we all have a job description, but a job description really doesn't matter because we're all willing to do what needs to be done to get the job done. And over the last year, we did in that last year equivalent to almost what we did in the last 5 years.
Whoa,
So,
really?
bottom line, last year's results were we maintained 404 jobs, probably more. But, you know, did we create a whole bunch of new jobs? Not sure that we did, but we created where people can be employed in their existing job. And every entrepreneur is one job.
Yeah.
So you really kind of want to work on that. We at the same time, we ran the RIO grant, which was the Rural Innovation Initiative. And that kind of worked on a lot of businesses from a grant perspective. That program's gone in sunset. There's no new grant programs today, but there's probably something coming,
I'm sure,
to be able to help that. But, you know, our niche market is you've been in business 2 to 5 years. Those
Okay.
are if innovation cluster and everyone else can help those brand new startups. We certainly help them as well. But if I look at the profile of our clients, that's kind of where they fit.
I've also seen you when a client has been in business longer and they're opening something new. I've seen you
yes.
get involved in that way as well. So it might they do have experience as a team, and they have something that's successful, but now they're going into another direction. And that's what I saw during COVID. Entrepreneurs were so innovative because they saw what was required and they needed some capital to help them try and make that happen. So I see you guys stepping in for those kind of needs as well. Whereas a bank would say, well, prove to me this is going to work. Well, there is no proof. We're in a low, none of this has ever happened before, you know, and that's where you're able to step in as well.
And that's where we want to step in. That's where we can make a difference. And if you think of innovation, all innovation is doing the same thing in a new way with new results. And I continually go back to the doorbell. The doorbell is a one-time sale. You add a video onto it and people's got a reason to buy it different, you know, buy a second sale. So how can we work on creating that second sale or increasing client attraction, bringing them back, you know, changing their mindset, adapting to their mindset of how they're going to buy, because we all are buying different.
Or there is someone now at my door and I can see it on my phone. So you've got now a third sale. You're absolutely right. So
exactly.
Gail, I can't thank you enough. And innovation is one of the things that is your core. I know for your AGM, you brought in a speaker who was about innovation this year. You did last year, you did the year before. You're constantly pushing the envelope for local entrepreneurs to think what's next. You know, how can they make that leap? And I thank you for bringing that mindset to Peterborough. That's you know, it's a huge blessing having you here. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to leave us with?
If you've got ideas about what you need, bring it to me so we can work on developing something, because surely if one person needs it, multiple people do. So we need to be innovative in how we think about how we can help other people. So if you can help us, we can help you.
Thank you so much, Gail. Powerhouse, who is saying she is going after new grants, which you know that will happen. Just running ideas by her and her team, that is powerful. And what I'm going to have the website up for people to see and get in touch with you.
Yes, take a look at our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and our website.
You share success stories all the time, I think.
Yes, every Friday. Our goal is to share how a business is being successful. So every Friday is our success stories for all of the programs and all of the businesses. The great thing is we promote them, and that makes a difference for them. And then on the other side, on Mondays, we always have a quote from a business leader in our community about something around how they can help, or I think last week was about negotiation. The month before we worked on credit scores and stuff like that. So, those are the kinds of things we want to do, help on both ends, because together we're going to keep the money within our region and help us grow.
Thank you. Well, you don't get any more powerful than that. And this is a true business map, which Gail and her team can help you with, is how to grow your business. Thank you so much for joining me today, Gail. It means the world to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.